The more lonely you are, the more lustful you become, and the more susceptible you are to the feelings of lust. And the first reason for this is because even the idea of sex becomes a lot more novel to you the more alone you are. Because the more time you spend alone, the more you get away from being able to have that sexual intimacy and relationship with another person. Single people, or single guys in general, are a lot more likely to watch pornography due to feelings of loneliness. And loneliness and lust work close with each other because they both come from the same issue, which is a lack of connection. And if you can't find connection and you can't find love, which most guys can nowadays because of the dating market, then naturally you begin chasing lust. I mean, that's why OnlyFans is a thing. We live in a world where girls post nudes and feet pictures for $3.99 and make a lot more than most average people. And sex work has always been a thing, right? That's why they say it's the oldest profession, but we're talking about pixels. Like, think about this. Pornography is literally free all over the internet. It's on your social media, for crying out loud. You're literally a few buttons or clicks away from seeing anything you want. Like, make no mistake, lust is the most powerful temptation. The reason why guys are paying is for that connection, that feeling of connection. That's why these guys are like, they're messaging these girls, they're DMing these girls. It's why guys simp so hard for girls on the internet. A lot of that lust comes from a deep-rooted loneliness, because you're replacing what you lack in love with lust. Like, a lot of guys, a lot of men replace genuine sexual intimacy and relationships with a computer screen, with their phone. And that's why I feel for a lot of guys, because as much as you can criticize, the world today has a bunch of problems that the devil preys on. And that's not to absolve any responsibilities, but the reality is it's hard. The sexual dating marketplace, because of social media, has been effectively globalized. Your competition is the entire world. And I've talked about it before, but lust is arguably the greatest challenge, the greatest battle that every man has to fight. I mean, I guess you don't have to fight, you can give into your lust, but that's probably gonna lead to your downfall. Like, a lot of guys cheat on their wives, right? Indulge in sex work because more than sex itself, they want some sort of intimacy and the feeling of love from a woman that they're not getting. And even guys that get a lot of girls, right? A lot of guys that hook up with girls, boys, right? A lot of them are lonely as well. There's nothing emptier than hooking up with a girl and then the feeling afterwards of realizing you don't care about each other. And like, you're just trying to like get her to leave, but you don't want to be rude. It's a lonely feeling. It's a void that you're trying to fill, and you're replacing it with lust, and it becomes like a drug. Whether that's in the form of pornography, social media, dating apps, hookups, simping, OnlyFans, sex work, whatever. You're chasing lust to fill the void from the lack of connection and love. And a lot of guys feel this after going through heartbreak or a breakup as well, because now you felt that connection and warmth. You felt that love. Like, that's why when you're just hooking up, we call it just fucking. There's a distinction between just fucking and making love, even though it's the same thing. It's sex. The difference is in sexual intimacy and genuine connection. And there's now a void because you once had it and you lost it, as opposed to never having that to begin with. And a quick replacement for that is lust, because you can't just replace genuine connection and love. That's something that takes a lot of time and bonding and intimacy. But there's plenty of outlets for you to chase lust, especially nowadays. Like pornography, the most accessible, the most common one, has defeated so many guys. And this is a problem that previous generations, they didn't have to deal with growing up. Like, what age do you think kids are seeing pornography nowadays? Yeah, before maybe it was finding your dad's Playboy magazine in the cabinet while he was at work. But now little Timmy is just a few clicks away on his iPad. And also, it's why a lot of guys that get their heart broken, or even girls that get their heart broken, they become hoes or fuckboys. Because you become jaded, you lost that connection and love, especially your first. And then you try to replace it with this temporary feeling from lust. Even though it's completely physical, when you have sex, when you have that release, your body produces the love chemical, right? I think it's oxytocin. Even if it's temporary, you get that hit and you try to replicate it over and over again, and it becomes an addiction. I mean, I guess you can look at lust as the other side of the coin to love, or like the other devil on your shoulder, right? It's naturally what you turn to. I mean, it's personally what I think the post-nut clarity depression comes from. It's because you got that momentary release from your lust, but you're left with what's real, and that's a loneliness and desire for a connection. Like, you're out here cuddling your bed sheets afterwards. And I struggle with this idea of love and wanting a relationship, because sometimes I think back on it and I miss that love and that warmth and that sexual connection with someone you love. Like, you're not just fucking, you're making love. But at the same time, it's like, I understand where I'm at and where I'm trying to be, and a relationship takes a lot, you know, and right now I just gotta put my head down and grind, you know? Like, I'm focused on myself, and I'll go on dates here and there, like, cause you know, you always gotta sharpen the blades. But it makes me want that connection again, I'm not gonna lie. But it's also like a crutch, because having a partner, it makes you less susceptible to the feelings of lust. Like statistically speaking, people in relationships watch less pornography because, I mean, obviously you have a partner. So yeah, being in a relationship, having that connection, it also makes the fight against lust easier. But I guess I just gotta suck it up for now. So like, what can we really do, right? Like I've said before in my previous video, lust is one of the greatest challenges that a man has to go up against. Lust has even brought down or been the demise to even the quote-unquote greatest men in history, the world leaders in terms of accomplishments. Like think of all the high status, high value men in the world right now. They've all fallen to lust. It's why Trump is going through what he's going through. It's why Elon Musk has like 12 kids with a bunch of different baby mothers, which I'm sure he has on payroll for the rest of his life. Same goes for many other athletes and actors, etc. Like for Trump, right? Regardless of the validity of some of those indictments against him, it's still his fault for sleeping with porn stars and having to pay hush money, etc. Like he put himself in that position because of his lust. Same thing for his buddy Vince McMahon, right, from the WWE. No matter how great the accomplishment of man, there's very few men that have truly defeated lust. And I think the best thing to do, I mean the first step at least, is to become extremely self-aware. Like realize when you're feeling lustful and analyze the trigger for that. What made you feel that way and change that situation. For example, right, for a lot of people it's as simple as scrolling Instagram, right? You see a hot chick, a thirst trap, and whatever, you want to jerk off. Think about your situation, your environment. Are you home alone? Are you bored? Or maybe you saw a post of someone you know in a relationship and that makes you feel lonely. It could be the smallest thing ever. Whatever it is, identify that trigger. And then you start to become hyper aware of it when you're feeling lustful, and then you have to make a decision. Whereas before, you would just go watch pornography and jerk off and you wouldn't even think twice, right? But now, every single action you're extremely conscious of, and that's where the inner struggle and battle against your lust begins. And it becomes a conscious decision that you have to make instead of just letting it control you and going through the motions. And for me, it's like, I don't like to lose, right? So if I give into lust, I feel like I just lost the battle to Satan, and I don't like that. I don't like that feeling. I don't like to lose. It's kind of a weird way to look at it, but I guess it kind of works for my personality, and maybe it'll work for you. And something else that'll help is have a love for something in your life for the time being that doesn't involve a connection with another person. I mean, it's not like it can replace a genuine connection with another person that is love, but it gives you some sort of purpose and fulfillment. Like, not to get all esoteric, but when you're purpose driven, it literally feels like you're existing at a higher state of being. You literally move with a different energy. And then by proxy, you naturally feel less lustful. You're not feeling depleted or low energy all the time. When you have purpose, when you have something in your life that you have or love that you're fighting for every single day, whether that be a job, a career, a passion project, a goal, just something that you have genuine love for that doesn't have to do with another person. And then obviously all the basic things like interact with people, go work out, go for runs, go to the gym, eat healthy, make some more friends, etc., etc. You know, all the super basic stuff about living a healthy lifestyle. And also, don't try to like just cold turkey quit right away, because then you're just setting yourself up for failure. It's like these guys that go on NoFap, right? They try to go from not jerking off every single day to not jerking off at all. Obviously, you're gonna fail. Obviously, that's not gonna happen. Just try to slowly decrease it in increments, and then slowly but surely you'll get there if you're doing all those other things as well. And also, have faith, pray, and believe in God. That's the most important. Anyways, I think I've gone on long enough. Oh yeah, and also let me know if there's any videos you want me to make. It's a lot easier when I'm not just trying to go with the flow to whatever comes to my mind that I want to talk about. So yeah, if you got any suggestions, let me know. Anyways, yeah, I think I'll leave it off there. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for listening. I love you. With that said, make sure you guys stay true. I'll talk to you real soon. Peace.